Good morning, Woody. How are you? Have to give you a bit of a clean out, I think, matey. It's only me. It's only me. Step. 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 Yeah. Quite so keen, not quite so keen, are you, matey? Eh? That's alright though, isn't it? Not too bad, Woody. Not too bad. So yesterday, the day before yesterday, we weighed Woody and he was actually over 2 pounds, which does happen at the beginning of his molt. He seems to go up heavier and then slowly drops off to a sort of a stable fat weight, but this takes a little bit of time, a few weeks to establish. That's what I've noticed with this hawk. So yesterday, because he was so heavy, I gave him a day off from a feed, which is quite natural. So I don't want to just keep feeding him up. I'm just topping my pond up actually, because the filter was the filter needed cleaning out, so I had a bit of a leak up there, so the level went down a little bit. The fish are still happy. So for a hawk, it's still a natural cycle not to eat every single day, as long as they've got enough nutrition, and you know that. It doesn't hurt now and again to give them a day off, that's okay. As long as they're getting plenty of good nourishment. I'm just going to give him a little weigh up and see what he's doing today. Woody today is at £1.14, still on the heavy side. I don't want him obese, that's what I don't want. But I'm just going to regulate his food now to smaller amounts, just to stable him out a little bit. I can tell what he needs just by what he eats. So after a few weeks of observing Woody, what he eats, what he leaves, what he looks like, his attitude, I can work out exactly what he wants to eat each day. And it isn't very much really, it's a similar amount to what he'd be eating to keep his weight during the hunting season as per item. But I let him have he's certainly getting some good quality foods now. This morning I'm going to give him a day old cockerel from the food industry, just because I know he likes those and I want him to feed off my fist and spend a little bit of time. So we'll pop him on his perch, which is just there. I move this perch around quite a lot. He's eager to get on that perch. And now Woody, I can't tie him and then pop him on there, so what I'm going to do is I back him on. So as he turns towards it, I'll turn him the other way and I'll just work him like that until he steps on nicely. So I've got these two little cable ties there, extremely light, so if the bird baits he just pulls off, but I can sort of load it up like that, takes the weight off the ring, and then I can get him in the secure position. Now obviously when you're hunting your hawks, you're hunting your Harris hawk, they're at a weight, well, they should be at a weight where they're going to come back to you, and if you did make a mistake you could call them back. So really take note that if you're keeping the hawk a bit manned up like I'm doing here, there's a risk, a terrible risk in fact, if you lose your hawk, if you're not 100% sure of what you're doing, don't do it. Leave the hawk to molt out in the mews, they'll be fine. Of course, when you get them out at the end of the molt, they're still heavy and you could have the same problem. But what I'm saying is, if you lose your hawk now, if anything went wrong, this hawk is not coming back. At this weight, he'd go up in them trees. He may come down for a bit of food, but I very much doubt it. So you've got to be so careful. So this is a hazard of doing this rather than leaving him in the mews. But as I say, when you get them out and start training them again, the hazard's there anyway. This is just got to be extra careful for longer, really. But if I look at Woody now, I can see whether he's following me around. Keep my eye on him, see if he turns around, see where I am. I see him still looking at me. But this hawk could go for days without catching food at these sort of weights, literally, and they'll be okay. They've got such a reserve on them. That's natural to a hawk. What we're not doing is starving hawks to fly them. You just work with the natural nature of the hawk. So you can see now that Woody is looking at me. He knows we've got a bit of food here. I'm going to actually give him a bit of rabbit rather than the chick, as I said earlier. And I'm going to see whether he'll hop to my fist. See, that keenness to hop to the fist has gone. He doesn't really need this, but if he's comfortable enough, he'll still come over. So that's the difference of Woody, what he was like. I know he's going to eat off my fist, I can tell, but what I'm going to do, get him in the safety position and take the tether off. If I didn't have a tether on here, this hawk would sit here all day anyway, I'm pretty sure, but of course that's not what you're going to do. We don't want to be losing a hawk into the community. So there he goes, he's still eating off my fist. Not so keen to sit on my fist and eat, but I'm trying to keep this going. And as I said before, it's not easy, it's actually hard work. It's far easier to just put your hawk in the mews and let it molt out. I'm going to sit down here now, enjoy looking at my fish. I'm just going to pop that hose underwater just to take that noise away, and then we'll sit here and enjoy a few minutes with Woody whilst the hunting season is over and we're molting out. Otherwise, for me, the molting season or molting time is too long to be without some sort of interaction with falconry. Now, if I wanted, I could have a nice little merlin. My mate breeds them, and I could fly merlins quite early for a little while during the molt. But what I do is I go out with my mates and enjoy watching them do their falconry rather than having something else to be worrying about in the garden. So you've all been watching the channel for, or most people have been watching the channel for quite some time now, and you know little Chewy the patterdale. Well, Chewy the patterdale is still with us, but he had a stroke last week, and he's become incontinent, struggling around the house now, falling over. So I took him to the vet because I thought, you know, the time's up now, but the vet's given us an option to put him on some steroids to see how they went, see how they go. So he's on a course of steroids at the moment. It's unbelievable what steroids have done. They've given him a sort of a second lease of life. He's still unstable. I'm taking him for little walks, and he's still incontinent in the house, but we're gonna try and give him another bit of time, keep him going. But the poor little thing won't be hunting again, but that's what happens when you have animals, unfortunately. He's coming up for 14 now. When I lost Bo a couple of seasons ago, that was really heartbreaking because he was only 2 years old when he had a seizure in the wood where he was out, and he passed away. Yeah, I tried to give that dog CPR, and it was heartbreaking. But when you got dogs and they've run their course, it's not quite so bad, but still, it's still sad. But you have to expect it. So little Chewy, yeah, just thought I'd let you know, little Chewy's had a little stroke, and yeah, it's one of those things really. So this hawk now is starting to have enough, and he's at a little bit. I'd say he's at about 3/4 of an ounce of that rabbit there, which is not a great deal. His crop is just under the size of a golf ball, which is probably what we'd be giving him on a mild day during the hunting season if he was you know, hunting and flying. So once they're at the weights that they need to be, or they want to be at, that's pretty much what you need to keep them going. Just a small amount, not a big crop. So he's had a few days and a couple of weeks of full crops, and now he's settling down, and his weight will slowly drop off until it stables out to, I reckon, about £1.12.5, like he has been the last few seasons. What I'll do now is pop him onto his perch with this bit of rabbit. He's had enough sitting on my fist eating, for sure, I can tell that, but he's still looking at it. So if I put him on his perch, he'll carry on eating. Wouldn't you, Woody? Yes, I think you will. Let's try you out, shall we? Before I do that, I put a little video out last week, subscriber fun, that if anyone wants to send in a picture of themselves with an animal, without an animal, with the hawks, please send it to freebirdofreason@gmail.com. So I've had quite a few photos so far, some lovely ones of people's hawks and animals. Still room for some more. So if you've not seen that, and this is the first time you've heard, we're doing a little montage of people's hawks, and yeah, send them in and we'll put them on a little video, make a video. So I'll put the email address below in the description. So it's freebirdofreason@gmail.com, as I say, there's been some nice pictures come through, but we've still got room for more. By the end of March, beginning of April, I will number up all the emails, put them into a hat, and the lucky winner, I'll send off something from the Free Bird of Reason shop, which I set up for motor neurone disease. Yeah, if you want to, send in. Little description of who you are, what your hawk is, species, name. You can send a couple of photos in if you want, it doesn't matter. And yeah, so early April we'll do a little montage to say thank you to all the subscribers, just for a bit of fun really in the downtime. Right, let's pop him on his perch, see if he'll eat some more of this rabbit. Leash in the safety position. Do not want to lose this hawk. Just reading an article this morning, and there was a little article in the online news of a Harris hawk that was apparently swooping down and attacking people from behind. Now, I did see a bit of the footage, and yes, it was a Harris hawk flying down and striking people on the back of the head and then flying off. But they've made a bit of a thing of it. There you go. So he's going to have a little bit more of that now, but he didn't want to eat it off my fist. That's okay. So they're making quite a thing of it, and they're on about getting that hawk. I think the owners tried to catch it. I'm sure it's very difficult for him as well, because his hawks made the news, and it's a little bit negative too. And there's people saying that hawk can take cats, small dogs and lamb, which obviously, if you know, I don't think these are going to be taking cats and lamb. Yeah, maybe they would if they was hungry enough to take small things. What do you think? Have you ever seen one of these? Has your hawk ever taken a small dog or a cat? I don't think they will, and certainly I'll be surprised if they took a lamb, but maybe they do. But anyway, it's made the news, and I did see the video, and that hawk is attacking people. The one I saw had jesses. Look, this is the start of the molt, so we were losing the downy feather from underneath there. Yeah, so a bit embarrassing, I'm sure, for the person that's lost it. It has jesses. I couldn't tell whether they were flying jesses or muse jesses, but it did have jesses on. So you need to be so careful with your hawks. I've heard stories of Harris hawk breeding with wild buzzard, and I've seen a picture of the supposedly young from that pair. Yeah, it does look a bit, you know, a bit of a mix, but I don't know. Have you seen it happen? I'm sure if it can happen, it will happen. That's what they say. He's given it to the dog, so we'll let Willow have that. I've got more of it, so that's okay. We'll leave this hawk here for a little while now and take the dogs out for a little walk. So if you look there, as I was saying, little cable tie. If the hawk baits, it just pulls off there like that, and this just takes the weight off the leash. Just a simple idea, but something I do. There's our lovely Chewy. You alright, mate? You alright? Do you want to come out for a little walk? So I know Chewy has a few followers and a few friends. Get out. But there's poor old Chewy. Not quite the same as he was. Poor little thing, but we're going to try and he'll be alright in a minute once he's had a little move about. But there's that beautiful poor Chewy that's worked with that hawk for so long. Come mate, we're going to just try and get him out for a little walk up the alley now. But unfortunately Chewy's days are hopefully not, but I think he's coming to an end. Let's just try and give him a good last few days out. Come on mate. Come on mate. Come on mate. He still wants to come for a walk. All the time I can see something in him that is okay. He's eating well. He loves his food, loves his cuddles. We'll put up with a bit of incontinence in the house and just give him the last bit of time we can give him. That's as long as he's happy and pain free. That's what happens when you have doggies though. But yep, you know Chewy, I'll just sort of update you on poor old Chewy. Just for a bit of entertainment, this chalk runs through here, down in South East Kent. The whole of these hills are chalk. Everywhere chalk. Now if you didn't know, in chalk that's where flint is formed. So flint is formed when millions of years ago you get sponges and starfish die, fall to the bottom on the chalk, on the seabed, decay, turn into a pulp, and then fill that mixture would fill any void, and then it solidifies over millions of years into flint. Therefore when you get for instance a sea urchin die and fall to the bottom of the sea, and it gets covered in the chalk, which is micro organism silicon, over millions of years, the sea urchins can fossilise into flint. So what I do is I find the flint, as in here, and search through it all and find, either finding these round ones and break them open because you get crystal in those, but I look for the sea urchins within the flint. So I walk across the fields all up this way, picking up flint, looking for flint, and then finding sea urchins. So when I get back I'll show you a couple of those which I've found, and they are sort of 150 million years old. Difficult to find, but that's something I will be doing in my downtime, looking for fossils with my grandchildren, try to explain to them what they are, where they come from, and we'll be having a little wander down on the coast where I know there's a really old piece of ground that's millions of years old, which is not everywhere, and looking for some fossils there. So I'm going to mix this channel up just with a few bits and pieces as we go through the moult, just to keep us entertained, try and show you a few different things as well as Woody as we go. Now Chewy has disappeared, so I'm going to have to go back and find him now. He's not even decided to walk up here. He gets confused, goes the other way now and doesn't follow. And there he is there. He hadn't gone far, but he's still doing his doggy thing, sniffing, marking. He's a little bit unstable, but look, he's okay. Look, hello. Hello, mate. You alright? We love our animals. Sad. Sad. But we're giving him lots of nice food. Just make his life the best we can. But when you have animals, it's always very difficult at times. Isn't it, Chew? Come on, mate. Come on, mate. But there's Chewy. I'll put a few pictures up, a little bit of video of what he was like, and this dog worked with that hawk so well. Come on, mate. So that's his little walk. We'll put him in, then we've got to take Willow out, because Willow, she needs a long walk. Otherwise, don't you know about it, when you get in, she doesn't let you sit down. There's a little fish there, look, they're all koi. Carp. Koi is a Japanese word for carp, so actually koi or carp, people call them koi carp. So here we are, these are the sea urchins. It's my little fossil collection here. But this is what they are. See the spines running down the side, so that's the sea urchin. You can see the mouth part there, so that is about 150 million years old, made of flint, formed in chalk. So that's what we hunt for. I've got 2 or 3 of them now. And there's another fossil which I found. So there they are, the fossils. And up there is my fox skull, which I prepared myself, put it into a nice glass dome. That's the sort of thing I get up to when we're during our downtime during the molt. That's a Triton I built with my son Timmy. Poor Timmy passed away a few months back now, but that's my little area for him. I thought I'd show you that, it's quite nice. But there he is, we was in the garage building that together for quite a few months. Bless him.